Today, Monday, May 2nd, marks the start of Mental Health Week in Canada. And this year, the Canadian Mental Health Association is putting the emphasis on empathy. Under the hashtag #GetReal, the National Mental Health Organization is urging Canadians to put themselves in other people's shoes, to understand where they're coming from, and to listen without judgment. While this new research indicates that Canadians may be feeling empathy fatigue, a survey conducted by CMHA and the University of British Columbia indicates only 13% of Canadians are feeling empathetic. This is down from 23% at the start of the pandemic. Well, with us now to discuss Mental Health Week and empathy is Ms. Sarah Kennell, National Director of Public Policy at the CMHA. Ms. Kennell, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with this, ma'am. How does the CMHA define and measure empathy?
Empathy is really about the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to understand where they're coming from, also to kind of remove judgment and bias from the relationship, whether it be interpersonally or at a societal level when you're thinking about the conflict or the divisions that exist within our society. Empathy is the ability to see commonality and work through difference.
Sounds like something really important during these times, ma'am. Now, the study indicated that Canadians are feeling less empathetic. So can you unpack the main findings of this research here?
Yeah, absolutely. So the research we conducted was at the end of 2021. So you'll recall, the Omicron variant was rampant throughout the country. We were headed into new lockdowns. And at that moment in time, Canadians were feeling the least empathetic they felt throughout the entire course of the pandemic. So back in the early days of, March, April, May 2020, we saw our empathy levels at, 1 in 4 of us feeling empathetic. And that's when we were all in this together. We were bending over backwards to help each other out, really rallying support for frontline workers. But 2 years into the pandemic, those feelings of empathy have really waned, and we're entering a phase of empathy fatigue.
So for some perspective, why does a decline in empathy matter in the first place?
Yeah, empathy is really key to resolving conflict, building healthy relationships, identifying commonality when differences or conflict exists. So empathy is a skill that can be learned and something that we all should be doing more of in order to, be able to manage conflict in society and live without stress at an interpersonal level. So that's why it's really important for us to be learning and growing this skill.
All right, ma'am. Well, something interesting from the study I noticed was that Canadians are as worried about lost social connections as they are about getting sick with COVID-19. So what message should be taken away from this data here?
Social connection is so important, and isolation, lockdown, the public health measures have really reduced our ability to maintain relationships and connection with family members and community members, whether they're in our communities or live far away. And, what we're really seeing is that it's so important to be able to overcome difference when we are able to connect with each other, to have conversations, to identify what that common ground is. And that's why we need to be really keeping an eye on these data points, because as we're seeing the rises in divisions in our society, differences of opinion around public health measures, et cetera, empathy is the real, I don't want to say silver bullet, but it's certainly an important skill for us to bring to the table as we overcome these challenges.
All right, Ms. Kennell, let's talk solutions. What kind of steps need to be taken to improve the current state of mental health in Canada during this tail end of the pandemic and long after it?
Yeah, fundamentally, we need better access to mental health supports, whether it be counseling or psychotherapy. Many people struggle to find the help that they need in community. So we really want to see more investment, of course. It's also about, recognizing the importance of mental health promotion and social and emotional learning. Kids are able to be empathetic. Babies, we know when, babies hear each other cry, that's the first sign that they have empathy. So these are skills that can be learned and developed over time, which is why investments in mental health promotion at early ages, children and youth, really important and should be part of our education system.
All right, just a quick 30 seconds left here, but how can our viewers get involved with Empathy and Mental Health Week this week?
Yeah, talk about it with your friends and family. Talk about it on social media. Hashtag Get Real. Visit your local Canadian Mental Health Association branch or other community-based organizations and look at how you can support and also learn from the resources they have. But really talk about it and get real about your emotions.
Time to get real. All right, Ms. Kennell, thank you again for your time today.
Thanks for having me.